good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Learning Live Tuesday in the house. Hope everyone is doing well on this first Tuesday in March. We'll give it a minute or two for people to find us, to jump on. But primarily what my topic for tonight is our March sketches. So last month in February, we started launching some sketch challenges based on your feedback that you wanted help getting stuff done. You needed inspiration, you needed ideas. And so last month we did a fun layout. Tonight, we are going to do some cards, and this is our March card sketch. Now, just because this is a card sketch does not in any way mean that you could not use these ideas for a layout. But just in order to, kind of mix things up, since we did layout last month, we're going to do some cards tonight. And the little image here does have some bunnies and is starting to lean towards spring and Easter. And some of the papers and things that I have selected for tonight kind of fall in that vein, but there's no reason why you could not make this a birthday card, which I will do. I will do on one card. You could do it a congratulations. You could do it sympathy. Any occasions that you might be making a card for. This is a nice, simple sketch to follow. Now, again, you can see I've got a lot of stuff here. This is not all going on one card. I am actually going to show you 3 different ways that you can approach this sketch in order to create with. So, what else do I have to tell you? So that's the sketch. I'll start by clearing off the space, and we'll break down the sketch into some measurements that I may or may not follow for the entire session tonight. But that's always the best place to start, is to at least figure out your measurements so that you can cut and create really fast and easy. The other thing that I've got on hand tonight is these little guys here. So Spellbinders, if you were not aware, just recently came out with a brand new line of cardstock, which is their color wheel cardstock. And one of the great little sets that they offered up to all of us was this color swatching wheel. Let me see if I can... So that's what the die looks like. This is the color swatch wheel. There is also just a color swatch pedal, which I think I have shown you in the past, but that's just for swatching single colors. This one is really designed for helping you remember color combinations that you like and keep yourself a reference or a resource in order to create with over and over again. So I actually started with the Graphic 45 paper. This is the beautiful Spring is in the Air line from Graphic 45, and the navy blue, the pink, and the green just totally speaks to my springtime heart. So I started by pulling cardstock out of my stash in order to match this paper. And I really use that kind of as my starting point. Now, I didn't just use Spellbinders paper on this. I've got Color Vibe, I've got some Concord and Ninth, and I've got some Spellbinders cardstock on here to help me match up some of those papers, and we'll pull little bits all the way through this evening. I went a step further and I did a second one that I pulled my inks. So I've got Tim Holtz Picked Raspberry. I've got some Concord and Ninth. There's Twisted Citron from Tim Holtz. The one match I could not find in my prep tonight was something to match this blue. So for right now, I've just left that petal blank. I do have a spare petal that can just slide in there once I figure out what the best match for that blue is. But we are going to keep referring to these throughout the evening as well. So welcome to Learning Live. Welcome to our March Sketch Challenge. I'm going to now make some space Any questions so far, Matt, or is everyone just tuning in and getting warmed up?
Everyone's just getting warmed up, I think.
Okay. So I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to grab my nice big Sharpie and my pencil. I think I'll start with my pencil. So this is the sketch that we have posted in the Papercrafter Inner Circle for this month's card challenge, or again, any challenge that you wish. If you missed my session last month, I like to start with the clean sketch and break down the measurements. Math is not usually my strong suit. However, if I can just take a few minutes off the top in order to, oh, Matt's just moving my lights a little bit there. I think that made it darker.
Good, okay. Keep going.
Okay. I like to just write down some measurements so that I don't have to keep thinking as I go along. I get them all kind of figured out ahead of time. And then if I have to trim or crop or what have you, I can do that. I'm going to be basing all of my measurements on the fact that this is a standard A2 card, which when it's folded measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now, when I look at this picture, and I think if I were to actually take a ruler and measure it out, this actually looks a little bit taller than what a 5 1/2 would be, but we're going to pretend. We're going to pretend. So we're going to say that this is 5 1/2, and we're going to say that this is 4 1/4 down here. Don't know if you can see that. Let me do it in 5 1/2, 4 1/4. Like so. So 5 1/2, 4 1/4, it's a standard A2. Now, when I look at these little strips here in the center, there is actually almost an even space on either side. And so I need to kind of figure out what my math is and how much of this space I'm going to use for pattern paper and how much I'm going to use for negative space. Also remembering that there's going to be some space in between. So arbitrarily, I'm going to determine that each strip is going to be 1 inch wide. That's going to give me a total of 3. Gives me a little bit on this side, a little bit on that side to get up to our 4 1/4. So even if this is a half, I'll bring this up close to the camera in a second. So if we estimate that this is a 1/2 inch, 1 1 1, that's 3 1/2, plus another half is 4, and a little bit left over for in between the two slots. To me, that feels like very easy, very manageable measurements. If we were to get these strips too small, then they're really just going to shrink and we're not going to have the impact. So for me, a 1 inch width is nice. Now we're going to look at this side here, and I'm actually going to just turn it this way again so I can kind of look at this. This here almost looks like the same here. So if I say that's an inch here and an inch here, at 5 1/2, that leaves us with 4 1/2. This section here is now 3 1/2. And I will tell you 100% these are arbitrary numbers. If you want more of your card space showing, you make this area bigger and this area smaller. But we're going to try number 1 with these measurements and see how it turns out. Other elements that we need to work out, well, there's these little embellishment things. For me, I tend to pull from my stash, whether it's an embellishment pack or a sticker pack. So I'm not going to worry about those measurements. But this white piece here for our sentiment does make a little bit of a difference. So if we are 3 inches here, let's make this 3 1/2. Wow, I really did not write that well. And let's call this 3/4. And again, that was really just kind of an arbitrary number. It's smaller than this, wide enough that it's going to cross all 3 strips. And worst case, we cut our piece too big and we have to cut it down. Okay.
Donna says that's Sheri's math class.
Sheri's math, which may not always be accurate math. but we're going to try.
I think this is the only time I hear you doing math is when you're doing stuff like this.
This is where my planner brain comes out, and I want to make sure that I have everything kind of lined up and ready to go. So when I'm throwing papers around, changing things up, then I'm not too worried about whether I've got the right measurements or not. Okay, so we're going to dig in with paper first. So the first option, the first way we're going to use this sketch is simply by using our beautiful pattern paper. And once again, I've got this Spring is in the Air couple of papers from the Graphic 45 collection. This one does have these very busy bunnies on the back. Oh, the camera did not like that at all. I've got these this page here from which I have already cut out some little postage stamps. And that's the other part. When I looked at this sketch, the first thing that really caught my eye in the store was these strips of paper. So that's kind of where I'm going to start off with here. And then we're going to play a little bit. Excuse me. The other thing we need to determine is what is going behind it all. And let's go back to my petals here. Here's my cardstock. That pink would really, really help some of these pink flowers jump out, but I almost wonder if it's a little too intense. The purple is nice and would give definitely a softer look to it. I actually also really like the yellow and the blue. I mean, they all work. They all work. So you know what? Because we can, let's do two. I can't decide. So I'm going to do a yellow background, and I think I'm going to do a purple background, and we will see how it all works out. Okay, so let's do that first. I'm going to cut those.
Did you forget your cutter?
Nope. I've just been moving stuff around so I couldn't see it right off the top. So I'm going to
thank you for doing the math.
Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And again, I don't ever look at any of this as being set in stone, but it's always handy to have a starting point. So here's our 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 purple. I'm going to hang on to that for later. And this one, I'm going to do the same thing. This was just a little corner where I took off for my color swatch. And 4 1/4. All right. Next up is cutting our pattern paper. So my vision and my thought is that this strip here and this strip here will be these strips of paper from the florals. And then down the center is where I'm going to stack and layer the little postage stamps. I may have to cut more now that we're doing two cards, but we'll see where that takes us. This center sentiment area here, I might actually, we'll have to see how it turns out. I might actually use this Spring Has Sprung. So even though I did the measurements for that, I might not actually use it. Or we've got the A Beautiful Day up here, or maybe both. Let's see where we go. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep the sketch there on camera. My bases, and let's get this guy out of the way as well. All I really need, no, if I'm doing 2 cards, I'm going to need 2, because this is 3 1/2. So if this is 12, I actually could get 4 strips out of 1 strip here. So let's start with 1. And if I want it to be 1 inch wide, I'm going to actually go over to this middle one, because I don't think I have enough on this side here. And this is where we're gonna be a little bit loosey-goosey with those measurements. So advertising strip off. I am going to take off this first one right between the blue strip and the green strip. I will be cutting this down further. So this is just an offcut because it's going to be too small for what we want. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so this is going aside. So right now I have this piece here, which is quite a bit larger than what we need, but it at least gave me some flex in terms of where my 1 inch comes into play. And I'm using the grids on my ruler to try and line up the center of that 1 inch with the center of this strip. And it looks like it's taking me to the first blue line over here and the first blue line over here. So that's how I'm going to trim it down next. It's going to be a little bit bigger than 1 inch. Just holding that into place. But I'm pretty sure we can forgive ourselves for being off. And you never know. Don't lose that strip because you never know when you can use it. And again, I'm eyeballing it there just outside that first blue strip. This flap goes very wide, so that's why I'm taping down my paper just so it doesn't move. Bloop. And all right. So now if I were to measure this strip, it is, well, pretty darn close to our 1 inch wide. We did pretty good on that. Now what I have to do is cut these down into our 4 3.5 inch strips. And even as I say that, I already know I did the math wrong. 3.5 is only going to get us 3 across. So I am going to have to grab and repeat another strip, but that's okay. So 1, 2, I've got 3 on this piece. See, not quite enough. Well, I'm going to do 2 cards, so I need 2. I need 4 altogether. Yeah. So let's go back over here. I can do this quick because I'm not going to talk it through. I know where my measurements are now. And another 3.5. Okay, so I now have 4 1 inch strips, and I have my little postage stamps. So my measurement here was 1/2 inch from the left-hand side. I'm just going to lightly tack it down right now because I may want to move it. So I'm just going to take one little strip here. I'm going to just put one little teeny tiny bit of tape in the middle. And I need to come down 1 inch and over 1/2 inch. So I am down 1 inch and over, give or take, 1/2 inch. Ish. And you know what? I'm looking like my bottom is a little bit bigger than my top. So let's come down. Oh, there's the 1 inch. That's better. I guess I just was out of alignment. So there's that one there. And I'm going to do the same on this other side, just a light little tack. And this is where I might get my ruler out. And 1/2 inch there. Okay. So my card's in the middle. And now, see, if you don't fully stick it down, you can move it because that one looked off to me. Now I can put 1.
Covering up your sketch.
2.
Oh, I thought that was a strip in the middle.
What, here?
Yeah.
It is a strip, but I'm doing it a little bit differently. But if I do this here, then it's going to stick way up. So now I'm going to center it. So whoop, whoop. And that's how I am positioning my extra pieces. So using this as inspiration, but not necessarily copying it exact. And my fingers are feeling a little iffy tonight, so I'm going to get my tweezers out. Help me put things into place. Like so. And I'm, in order to have contrast, I'm alternating between the white and the blue. And just make sure you get them right side up. Like so. And then the bunny. Now that this center section is in place, I can go back, add some more adhesive here. And look at how that's just nicely coming together. No, it just keeps sliding. All right. All right, so there's number 1. We're going to repeat the same thing for number 2 on the purple, and we'll see what it looks like. A little bit of tape, little bit of tape. There's in my grid. And I come down 1 inch, whoop, and over 1/2 inch. That. Get my ruler. And all right, and now I can do the same thing here. So let's put the butterfly in the middle. We've got the blue flowers at the top, the pink flowers at the bottom. Looking cute, looking cute, easy done with beautiful pattern paper. So that tucks in. Well, and you know what? Part of me wants to put this guy on a jaunty angle. However, I know we're going to be covering it up, so let's just keep it nice and simple. All right. Now that that center is in place, I can go back in. This time I'm not even going to move it. I'm just going to tuck my tape underneath. Bloop. Oops, I got 10. So that sometimes that's the risk that happens. You get a little bit too overzealous, but it's pretty forgiving. And if it's not, then that's where you put an embellishment. All right, so far we have our 2 cards coming together, and all we've used is really like, 2 1-inch strips of paper and our little postage stamps. We need our little sentiment area across here, and like I said, I was thinking about using these strips that are here on the pattern paper. So let's do that on one of them. Oops. And I'm just going to trim down that blue. If I can get this straight. And then trim down the pink. And I need the green one as well. And that's what I love about this trimmer, is that you can get super tight cuts And I'm just lining it up in this really wide track that's here for the blade. There we go. So how wide did we say we wanted this? We want it 3.5 wide. So if I go 3.5 wide here, am I going to get full words? No, I'm getting cut right in the middle. If I go there though, that's way too wide. So let's just, I'm now making executive decisions. We've got spring has sprung and a beautiful day. You know what? I'm totally not loving this.
It's hard to read it.
It is a little bit hard to read. So
what if you put like a white piece across?
that is, well, we could do white, or let's pull some color. I'm going to do a peridot strip on one, and I'm going to do the cascade strip on the other. Let's pull from the colors that we're working with. So, and I'm
nice
just
to make that strip nice and wide.
Yeah, and so that one we said was 3/4 of an inch, which is 3 pieces here, 3 little sections. Yeah, I think the green goes with the purple. And let's do the blue. 1, 2, 3. And now we need these to be 3.5. Okay, our spacing must have been a little bit off from our measurements because it's not sticking off an awful lot here. So, good thing it's just paper. Paper's not going to go to waste. I'm going to now make this 4 inches because I think that'll fit better. Come on. There we go. Much better. Much better. So that one's going to go across there. Oh no, I was going to put the green one over here. The blue one over here. Make sure it's straight.
Ish.
Nope, no ish. Nice and straight. And here. And now we could take spring has sprung, just fits really nicely in there. And our beautiful day fits nicely in there. I'm going to switch to liquid. Make sure it's the right way up. Okay, coming back to our sketch, we need a little taggy element here, and I've got a little critter here. Well, I put together one of our lawn fawn bunnies that we were playing with on the weekend. A big thank you to Ashley for die cutting them all out. He's a big enough size that I almost don't need the tag or anything else. He's a little bit big, and I don't want him, and I want him to have a nice presence. So I think if I put a tag behind him, he'll get, or it'll start to get busy. So I'm going to just put him here. Over here on the yellow, let's you know, we've got the bunny up here. So let's grab one of these little postage stamps, and we'll use that in place of a tag. And it's kind of doing the tag and the bunny at the same time. Just fussy cutting. Straight line fussy cutting, pretty much the only fussy cutting I will happily do. Though I say that, and I do fussy cut other times too. So that can go there, but we need a little something. What else have we got on here? Nope, not loving any of that. I don't like this postage stamp. Let's trim some of that pink down. And I'm going to grab some pink paper. And I've grabbed my tag punch. So with this, I'm going to do the smallest tag that's possible, the 1.5 inch. So what I want to do is I want to cut this as a 1.5 inch strip. And I can just use this little bottom part here. Stick it in 1.5 right down the center. There's my tag. And so if I put this here.
That feels way too big.
I know, but I'm just trying to line up where I want it to end. So I'm going to follow this diagonal line up. I'm going to follow this diagonal line up. That can go there. Our little bunny can go here. And now it feels a little bit more cohesive. So let's put this on. On our jaunty angle, I'm going to lift up my little sentiment there. Let's grab some pop squares. There we go. So using pattern paper is absolutely one way that you can approach any sketch, especially if they're indicating pattern paper. All right. Our bunny is there, and I would put this on a card base as well. But for right now, we're just going to keep it simple. And then this is already stuck down, so I just need, where did I put them? Just had them. And bunny's going to go over here where it says spring has sprung. And there is cards number 1 and 1A using the card sketch. So you really, this is a great little sketch to be able to use just some scraps of paper. You don't need to cut into a whole big piece like I did. But it's really quite simple and yet brings out lots and lots of color. Now, if you wanted to take this even to the next level, we could have taken this cardstock that is our base, put it through an embossing folder to give it some more dimension. And because I have some here, let's just pop some cute little gems on. So we'll do some here. And I always like to do my gems in 3s.
Oops.
Except when they go flying.
I heard that.
So there's one set of 3 there, and let's do just a second set since I only have one more big one. Let's go here. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, superstar. Matt found it. Where am I going to put them now? Let's put it over here.
Put it on your nose.
1, 2, 3. So if I join my triangles, or join my gems, it builds a triangle. There's our bunny. This one, let's just use little ones. Go 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to do another set down here. So this one I'm only going to do 2 sets of 3. 2 and 3. To really call attention to our tag, call attention to our sentiment, and just give it a little finish. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, if you do not have pattern paper, you could just use embellishments. You could just use stickers. Tonight, I am going to use some rub-ons. There we go. So these are 49 in Market rub-ons, and I chose these ones because they've got some nice vertical elements to them. I think as much as I like this one, I really love these umbrellas. So I may do this kind of as homework where I do more of a horizontal version. The rain boots are nice and vertical too, but there's not a lot else that's vertical in this set. So I'm going to come back to this one, and I'm going to focus on the balloons and the little champagne glasses in this one. So I'm just going to pull that first sheet out. Do I want, just wondering if no, I'm going to keep it simple. And what I'm going to do is I'm using the same color palette. So we still have a lot of these same colors that fit beautifully in with these balloons and these glasses and everything else. Now we used yellow and purple before. I'm going to do the navy blue as my base, but in order to build this unit here, I'm going to use one of my arch dies, and they keep falling off the backing because I need to get them on magnets. But if this unit here is 3 inches by 3.5, let's see if we can find an arch that's pretty close to that. So this one is actually 3 1/4, so pretty good there. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4. It's a little bit taller than what we've got here, but this one I think fits the bill quite nicely and will give us something that's pretty close to what we had measured out. So I'm just taking some white cardstock. Let's cut it down to size. So that I can die cut that. And I also need the blueberry for my base.
Time check, you're at 40 minutes.
Okay. That first one took a while, but this one will go quickly. So that's my card base. This is going to fit on top because I do have one more that I want to show you after this one. So we gotta make room for number 3. Gotta make room, gotta make time. But I think I don't think it'll take that long. Oh, there we go. Whoops, now I'm throwing caps. The Craftastrophe is growing over here. There we go. So before I glue it down, I'm going to do the rub-ons first, because if something happens that I mess it up and it's already stuck onto my base, then that's not a good thing. But this is just going to nest in there. Once we get those rub-ons on. So I want to focus on 3 elements. We've got 3 bars, so I want 3 elements. That's going to be 1 balloon, 2 balloon, and then you know what? I may do a 3rd balloon with the wine glasses in the middle. So the middle one's going to be a double element. All right, so over here to this tall teal balloon. Now I could have chosen the flowers as well, but I think the balloons have a nice celebratory feeling to them. And I really did like how vertical they were. So we're going to do one balloon. We're going to do two balloons. And then I do like the green balloon too. So let's do the green balloon and the champagne glasses. There. And there. Guys, you need to start telling Matt some jokes in the comments. He needs a little pick-me-up. Got my bone folder here. All right, so let's do the center balloon first. Trim it down a little bit more. So let's put this one up high. And
Wendy says, thanks for Google translating these sketches.
okay, good.
I don't know what that means though.
Well, I hope it helps to work together to break things down. So there's the one balloon. Let's do the second balloon. And I guess my biggest challenge to you is when you look at a sketch, start by looking at it exactly the way it was created. But then I really do invite you to look at it in other ways. Look at the shapes, look at the dimensions, and don't feel that you are so tied to that sketch that you no longer feel creative. Use what you've got and try and make it fit. This is not a jigsaw puzzle that there's only one right answer. You can make these all work in so many different ways. All right, my last balloon. There we go. I love 49 and Market rub-ons. They just peel like butter. All right, so now I've got my three. Doesn't look like the same three as I did on the first ones.
I don't understand how this is the same sketch.
You don't understand how it's the same sketch? Well, there's 1, 2, 3 elements, 1, 2, 3 elements. Now we need a horizontal base and we need a focal point. So my focal point is going to be my champagne glasses. I may even put this on a different colored piece of paper so that I can pop it up. And we need our horizontal element. So if this is our one, I'm gonna, you know what? Let's pull in some of this pretty floral paper. I don't need a lot. It's still, that's still a little bit sticky. So if you find that your rub-ons are a little bit sticky, your powder tool can just take that sticky down. There we go. Whoops. And let's see, what have I got? What have I got? I really, really like those flowers. But then it's going to hide too much of the balloon. So I need to just cut it down to a nice narrow strip. Nope. Okay. So I'm going to go, this one I'm going to do all the way across. So I'm going to do a full 4 1/4 wide. And I just want a little bit of a sliver. Like I said, fingers aren't working super great tonight. So this is going to go across like that. We've got our balloons. And then Let's, what am I going to put these on? I think white is still the best choice. Here's my extra white paper. Oh, my circle's too small. It's okay. I'll need a 1.5 inch circle at another time. There we go. Okay. That all rubbed down. So there's our champagne glasses. I'm going to come over here. We've got It's a New Day. Oh, here's one. Raise a glass. Raise a glass is perfect to go with the glasses.
Cheers.
Cheers. So this can go over top. Raise a glass. And this is going to just pop in here. So let's attach our strip. Oh, might help if we attach this part first. Oh, my stars. Now I'm out of tape.
You're out of tape? You have 17 tape runners.
So this is going to go in the center. This is going to go across like so.
Is that the same blue?
It is pretty close to the same blue.
Wow.
And then my glass. Okay, this is where I want this to have a little bit more definition. I'm going to come to my ink swatches. I've got the pinks, so I'm just going to take a little bit of picked raspberry. And let's just give this some oomph. This will tie into the pink in the flowers, the pink in this one balloon, and just help it stand out a little bit more. Foam squares. 1, 2. No, 2 is enough. So this is card number 2. Using rub-ons instead of pattern paper. Nice and simple, but you've got your little focal point down here. You've got your vertical. Let's bring that sketch out again.
It's been buried.
We've got our focal point. We've got our verticals that are drawing our eye up. We've got our segmented section here where we've got the arch, and it just looks really cool, if I do say so myself. What else do I have for gems? Here's a new pack of rhinestones. Let's just finish this up. These are the Spectrum AB, which have that kind of fun purpley blue color, which makes it perfect for this paper. We're gonna.
Uh-oh.
Nope.
Lose it.
Don't lose it. It's all good. And let's do one more set. go right here. 1, 2.
This is also why everybody has 17 sets of tweezers.
Yep, tweezers and all kinds of extra gems that you can embellish with. All right, I know Matt's going to give me a time check, so let's go on to our last card.
51.
This time, if you don't have paper in the color that you like, so for example, I want to play with these candles here from the Simply Stated Design Party Animals ephemera. I like the hats as well. But I think that this paper, as much as the colors work really well, it might be too busy and just a slightly different style. So we are going to make our own strips, not using paper. All right, I'm going to just do this on a card front. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, so I'm going to make it 4 by 5 1/4. So that it can sit on a regular card base. And then I'm going to take some strips. So this is Spellbinders. This is not the liner sheet that you guys know I love, and my new love is the liner sheets. These ones are actually masking sheets. So they are a low tack sticky tape. And again, from the weekend, we've got some of these strips all cut up, and you can use them multiple times. We're going to use it once tonight, but you can use it more than once. I'm going to grab my grip mat just to hold everything in place.
A lot of people have liked your card. You got lots of comments on that last card.
Excellent.
Like your interpretation of the.
Yeah, and you know what? I think if you guys take away nothing else other than you do not need to follow a sketch exactly, then I've done my job. Okay, so I'm going to take these strips. These strips are about 1/2 inch wide. So this one I can put right, and the hardest part is peeling it. Make sure I get the sticky side. I'm going to put this at 1/2 inch. Well, I'm going to put it right on the edge here so that it gives us a 1/2 inch border. I'm going to do the same on this other side.
Will that eventually get peeled off?
It will get peeled back off, yes. Yes, this is just a low tack tape that is protecting our card and keeping it white.
Oh, Jan is asking what your grip mat is attached to.
My grip mat is simply attached to a glass cutting mat from the kitchen store. I do also have the Tim Holtz glass mat, but I like to use my Tim Holtz glass mat for actually doing techniques and using things. This one here, because this is an old style grip mat, so it is a size that no longer exists. But if you have any of the bigger ones, you know that it takes, you really have to get in with both hands and both feet and your knees and your neighbor and everything else to kind of get it up and down again. So this way, by just getting an inexpensive kitchen mat, I am able to just leave it on the glass mat all the time. This is completely dedicated to this. I do also have one of these small 4x4 grip mats on here, and I'll show that in a second because I put my ink cubes on here so that they don't move all over the place. So, and then when I'm done, I just put the plastic covers back on, tuck it back on its shelf, and it just keeps it all nice and cohesive and tidy and in its place, and I don't have to go looking for something to stick my grip mat on when the time comes. All right, so what I need to figure out, so 1, 2, 3, I need to cut one of these little strips even smaller. Yikes, good luck. Let's slide this. Let's see if I can get this.
You don't have a whole lot of space to work there.
It's okay. You know what? Just for, no.
You're going to cut your fingers. Remember, it's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice. I'm going in. Let's see if I can do this. If not, I've got other. There we go. Yeah, it's not very straight. Okay. I'm looking to do 2 little skinny pieces, and so this way I can go this way. That's a lot easier.
That's a lot easier and safer.
Probably. Now, wish me luck getting the backing off. This can also be die cut. So say you had a butterfly, for example, that you wanted to mask. You could die cut it and then peel it to block off your paper. There you go. So this is just going to go here. So I'm building my 1-inch strip. This is the one that's not straight. Can never peel these when I'm on camera. We'll get there. We'll get there. There we go. Getting it started. Peel it slowly or that backing may shred a little bit. So now I'm going here. And if you can see here, let me bring it up a little bit closer. You can see that I've got my little skinny strips here. So I've got 1 strip, 2 strip, 3 strips, just like our sketch. And I'm going to take a couple more of these pre-cut ones because I need a top and a bottom. So this one I'm going to lay across like that. And to some degree I'm eyeballing, but I'm really trying to use that sketch and remember we had about 1 inch at the top and 1 inch at the bottom. I think I've been generous with that inch. It'll all make sense in a second. All right. So let's go across here. So now all of our areas are blocked off. Everything's stuck down. What color shall I use? I'm going to use grape. Here I'm going to use that picked raspberry, and I'm going to use twisted citron. So let's start with the picked raspberry. And I'm just going to go very gently. Let's try not to get over into the other space. Because if you don't have paper, use your ink. Actually, I picked those colors at random, but I didn't even compare it to my candles. So pink is fine. I think I'm going to change my mind on the twisted citron, but I will do the grape. And then what other colors? You know what? Let's do the buttercup. I think that'll be nice. So buttercup I will do next. And trying to keep in my space, color in the lines. Get that corner.
You're at 1 hour.
Yep. Okay. Almost there. Okay. And I will finish with grape soda. This one is a very juicy pad. I was trying it on that petal earlier. So just go really light.
very dark.
This one is very dark, yeah. I wish my pink were a little bit darker. I think I need to get some re-inker out, but that's okay. All right, so let's peel the magic. Da, 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 da. And yes, you can keep these. They do get a little bit curly, but that's okay. Keep them handy. Look at how nice and clean that is. These skinny ones I probably won't keep.
Cool.
There we go. There are our 3 blocks, no paper. I'm going to take this. Let's get this out of the way. And sorry, I'm reaching right across that camera. Do we want to do purple again? Sure, why not? So that will just nest on like that. And let's refer back to our sketch. So we've got our 3 vertical areas. We do need a horizontal. So let's go, since I've got pink here, let's go a nice bright pink. And again, I know this time, over here on the sketch, we said that it was ending short, but I'm one of those people that likes to go all the way edge to edge. My end wasn't straight there. That's why I've done both. And I don't want to cover up that much. Let's just do a little strip there. So this is going to go across like this. I find it anchors it personally when you go all the way to the edge. Let's tape it down. Sometimes being under this time crunch is great because I don't stress. I just commit and go. So if you are ever having trouble committing to something and you're having analysis paralysis, here's my tip for you. Set a timer. Give yourself 5 minutes, 15 minutes, however, set a reasonable amount of time that you can actually get stuff done, but set that timer. And once that timer goes off, you are done. It is a great way to commit yourself and really make sure that you're not just getting lost in the decision. Ooh, this is turning. These are bigger than I thought they were going to be, and I am loving it. Huge. Don't like that color with that, but look at this. Or do we just do one more candle? Maybe we just do one more candle. I love all the different shapes. All right, so we can alter it a little bit. So bring one candle up, one candle down. Change that up a little bit. Oh my goodness, that looks so fun. Okay, I'm going to get my foam strips.
This is turning into my favorite one of the ones you've done.
Well, there you go. So I've got some foam strips. They're going to be too long. Do I have a half? Yep, there we go. I've got masking paper now on my belly.
Better than glitter.
Well, yep. So I'm going to put a strip there and a square. So this one was down. This one goes up. Oh, I wasn't very straight on that foam square, but it is on, so no one's going to be able to see underneath. Up high. And
see, there's pluses to rushing, and then there's minuses to rushing.
Yeah. Oh, and that one I'm not going to get a square on, so let's just cut a little bee-boop.
A what?
A little bee-boop. Just a little teeny tiny piece to fit on this flame. Even that I think is too big. Nope, I got it. And so I really like putting them on the different heights. And these guys do not have
no
sentiments in that one. So let's grab a rub on. Celebrate, you got this.
You got room for that somewhere?
Yeah, I'm going to tuck it right in there.
It looks so small compared to the candles.
Yeah, it probably could have been. Oh, I maybe could have taken one of these guys, but that's okay. I just need to find my little rubby thing. How sweet and simple is that? So this one we did not follow 100%. We didn't have our little focal point, but that's because we turned our strips into the focal point. So yeah, that, you know what? Sometimes things turn out not quite what's in your head, and sometimes they turn out not quite like what's in your head, but even better. So here is our sketch for March. And you know what? I'm going to also challenge our scrapbookers to use this format on a scrapbook page, really just working in the idea of those 3 strips that anchor your focal point. And on a 12 by 12 layout, do 5 strips, do 7 strips. You don't have to be limited to 3. Card makers, my challenge for you beyond what I've shown you tonight, try horizontal one as well. That's on my homework list. And then just as a recap,
you radical rebel, you.
Oh, you know what? I am all about the rebel. So here we used ink blending to create our strips as opposed to our paper. Here we used rub-ons and vertical graphical elements in place of those 3 strips. And then we have our 2 originals where we use strips, we use postage stamps, and we broke things up in order to anchor our focal point. So that is our learning life for tonight. I mean, this would be really fun to do the same kind of thing with the party hats. Okay. And just have lots of fun. So Matt keeps telling me that it's time to let you guys get on with your evening. Hope you have a little bit of oomph left in you to do a little bit of crafting tonight. Otherwise, we've got the whole month of March, which is a long, long month, to work on all these sketches and all the ideas that I shared with you. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Thank you for putting up with the craftastrophe that is around me. And I hope you learned something fun tonight. We'll talk to you soon.